Hey everyone, this is DWS Darius, and right now you're looking at my 210-gallon aquarium. Today I want to give you guys a look at the top of the tank, where I showed you guys a couple of months ago how this tank is turning into somewhat of a paludarium because of all the terrestrial plant life up here. In that video, one of you guys suggested that I start growing some lucky bamboo. I thought it was a great idea, so I went and bought me some. I just didn't know how to add it to this aquarium, and today I want to give you guys a look at what I came up with. Okay everyone, so we're going to be taking a look at how I made my lucky bamboo islands. That's what I want to call it. It's just a great way to keep lucky bamboo in a tank this big. If you have a similar sized tank, it's definitely a great way to add just a nice little feature to your tank and to grow some beneficial plants in a tank that may not be able to keep plants, maybe because of your fish or because you just don't want any aquatic plants. This is a great way to grow some terrestrial plants in your aquarium. So the things you will need are a piece of egg crate. In this fish keeping hobby, egg crate can be used for many different things. I use it in some of my tanks for lids. I use it for dividers. Today I'm going to be using it for the base of my bamboo island. Next you'll need some zip lines, or zip ties rather, long preferably. You'll also need a piece of lucky bamboo. Then you're going to need a tiny little piece of filter floss. I use this poly filter. You're also going to need a needle nose pliers. I couldn't find my needle nose, so I ended up using this thing. It's kind of like a needle nose, but it's all twisted, but it got the job done. And lastly, you're going to need something pointy. You can use anything pointy. This is like the best thing that I had. I don't even know the name of this tool, but something pointy, maybe a screw or something like that, just something pointy, and you're gonna know why later on. So the plan is pretty simple. If you look at a piece of egg crate, it has a lot of holes which are good for adding pieces of lucky bamboo. I want to take a piece of egg crate and apply it to one of my center brackets. This tank being 6 feet long, I have 2 center braces. Normally I don't mess with these braces because they are very important, and if you damage them, you can pretty much damage the entire aquarium. But this project won't put a lot of strain on the braces, and the braces is run in the center of the aquarium, and I don't have a lot of plant action over there, so it's a good way for me to add plants to this portion of the tank. So the first step is very simple. You just want to measure out a piece of egg crate. You don't need any measuring tools, just simply count the squares within the piece of egg crate. So I put the egg crate on top of one of my center braces. My center brace ended up being exactly 4 units long, and I wanted 4 units to be on each side, so that gave me a total of 12 units for the length. For the width, I thought that 4 inches would be good, so my piece ended up being 4 by 12. When you do this, consider that the bigger the piece of egg crate that you're going to use, the bigger the shadow is going to cast into your aquarium. Some fish like shadows, but at the end of the day, you don't want too much of a shadow. So my tank being about 2 feet long altogether, this 4-inch width is pretty good, and I don't have to worry about a huge shadow being cast. Once you have your egg crate cut out, the next step is even easier. So you just take your egg crate and you tie it to the brace using a piece of zip line. Now I pulled it tight so that it doesn't move on its own, but not too tight, because just in case I wanted to move it back and forth, it still has enough room to slide back and forth. Next, it was time to add the lucky bamboo. So the lucky bamboo was a little bit thinner than the holes in the egg crate, so when I initially added them, they fell straight in, and the only thing that held them up was their leaves. The plants are able to survive like this, but I don't like the look of it, so I went and I grabbed me a piece of aquarium filter floss. I damped it a little bit and I wrapped it around the edges, and this gave the plant a lot more thickness, and I was able to put it at the desired height. This is where I used that weird little sharp tool just to stuff it into the edges of the egg crate as much as possible. You want the majority of the filter floss to be within that little area of the egg crate. You don't want any to stick out just for cosmetic sake. So according to my plan, this is how the finished product should have looked, but I wanted to take it a step further. I wanted to hide some of that egg crate. So I went to my backyard pond and I found some of the terrestrial moss that I have grown out there. I really don't know much about this moss. All I know is that I found it at a nearby lake and it likes to grow on top of wet surfaces. So I think that this egg crate would work best because the moss have access to the top of the water while it's not fully submerged. So I went and I just filled in some of the open gaps on the egg crate to try to cover some of that white look. "11 minutes ago I started this project. Now let's take a look at the final outcome. I definitely love the way this thing looks. Looks like a miniature island added to the top of my tank. The bamboo looks like miniature trees, while the moss looks like a little grassy field. And overall, it's a really nice feature for this aquarium. Not to mention it's going to be very beneficial as these plants take some of the nitrites and nitrates and just harmful waste from my aquarium." Now the Lucky Bamboo, I'm pretty confident that it's going to do well in this aquarium. It has a lot of growing space, and overall it's just a very easy plant to take care of. I do question this moss, however. The only place I've grown this moss was outside. I never grew it under aquarium lights, so I will test to see if it can handle this type of setup. If it does do well, it will tempt me to add a little bit more length to this island. I do got to remember that the bigger this island is, the bigger the shadow is going to cast under my tank, so I don't want too big of an island. But maybe if this moss does do well, I may extend it a little bit, add a few more pieces of Lucky Bamboo, and add a little bit more moss. Okay everyone, so that's been a little look at my bamboo islands. So I'm curious to know what you guys think about this project. If you like it, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. If you want more, make sure you subscribe because you all know more is coming. And thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. Catch you guys on the next one.